Hi everybody, today I'm going to show you a really nice starter sugarcane farm. The farm requires minimal resources and is quick and simple to build, nevertheless yields quite a lot of sugarcane. So here you can see we use a flying machine to harvest the sugarcane. Additionally, we have hopper minecarts immediately picking up the sugarcane. So let's launch the flying machine. So as you can see, we break the sugarcane blocks with the cauldrons in front, and the minecarts are stuck inside of the cauldrons. That's something that Pingo showed me, and in this case it's really one of the best solutions. There's just a slight problem that the minecart keeps glitching outside of the cauldron, and if I wouldn't stop the flying machine there, they would actually fall out. So that's why the length of the whole sugarcane farm is limited to 40 blocks. But for starter farm, this should be enough. You could harvest 320 sugarcane plants at once with a flying machine and minimal effort. I just want to show you what happens if you exceed the 40 block push limit of the flying machine. So the minecart in the cauldron at some point falls out here. While the flying machine is parked, hoppers under the cauldrons take out the items out of the hopper minecart and transport it to a single chest. You can either launch the flying machine manually by clicking on the fence gate once a lot of sugarcane has grown, or use the clock mode. Since sugarcane grows quite slowly, launching the flying machine every 20 minutes is enough. So let's check this out. I'm gonna speed up the game. As you can see, the daylight cycle is a lot quicker now. Meanwhile, a lot of sugarcane grows, and as you can see, most of the sugarcane is still too high during the night. So only very few sugarcane plants would grow up to 3 high, and once the sun rises again, the flying machine will be launched, harvesting all of that sugarcane. Okay, there we go, and here you can see the yield. We got out of about 4.5 stacks of sugarcane. In case you're interested in building this farm, you can check out the world download or follow the quick tutorial I'm doing next. Let's start with the material list. So we need 12 hoppers, 11 slime blocks, 8 cauldrons, 4 sticky pistons, 4 observers, 2 chests, 2 building blocks, 2 droppers, 1 daylight sensor, 1 lever, 1 redstone dust, 1 comparator, and 1 fence gate. Additionally, you need 1 normal piston and 8 hopper minecarts, and also you might need a button. Additionally, you need 1 slab and 1 powered rail or normal rail that you can get back afterwards. So in total you need 201 iron ingots for this small farm. Alright, now let's get started. The farm is also directional, unfortunately, because of the minecarts. So you need to build this either facing east or facing west because of the minecart rotation. Wouldn't work if it faces north or south, because then the minecarts would nudge each other. Right, now let's start building this. First of all, we need a sugarcane field. So we have 8 rows of sugarcane, and it's in total 40 blocks long, between, of course, the water sources which is required for the sugarcane. Alright, then here we have 5 hoppers. The 5th hopper makes a left turn, points to another hopper, which makes points to the right then. And here's another 6 hoppers leading into a chest or double chest. Alright, now let's start building. The most tricky part is actually getting the hopper minecarts inside of the cauldrons, so we need to use a nice trick. First we need to place the hopper minecart on top of a slab, so just place a normal block on top and a rail, and then break it. You can also take out the rail out of the minecart. And now we need to get in the cauldron, so you place just a cauldron right next to it. You can also do it from the other side if there's no sugarcane. Then you need to get a sticky piston and a button. So we're gonna 0 tick in the block inside of the minecart. You can see the minecart doesn't get moved if you 0 tick the cauldron block. It's important to use a sticky piston here. Okay, then it drops down a little bit. Now it's standing inside of the cauldron. Alright, so we need to do this in total 7 more times. So you can see the locations of the other minecarts. Basically every sugarcane row has a minecart. Alright, let's quickly do this. Get the pistons. and remove the slabs afterwards. Okay, now we can add the slime blocks at the back for the flying machine. 5 on this side and 6 on this side. Now we can also add the sticky pistons for the flying machine and another one there facing this direction. Usually would need to do it like this in vanilla, but I'm having Carpet Client in order to help with the placement. You can find it in the Scicraft Discord. Alright, yeah, now let's continue. We need to get some non-movable blocks. Place one at the back of the piston, and this one is temporary, you can remove it afterwards. Then we need downwards facing observers, here and there. And here's an upwards facing observer. Then you can either place a fence gate or a trapdoor on top of this observer. And now we can add the activation. But this actually is already activation, I mean the clock activation to be precise. Okay, so we need just a monostable circuit here. And now let's add the daylight sensor. So just get some blocks. You can place a repeater on, a comparator on top. Place it next to the piston. So you have the comparator. And it's also really important that you disable the machine if you either leave the area or leave the game. Because of various bugs, flying machines that get unloaded could break afterwards. Also, if you would move away while the machine is running, then the following could happen. The minecarts are no longer entity processing while the machine is, and you would basically lose the minecarts if you leave the area while this machine is running. So that's why you always want to turn off a machine if you leave the area or leave the game. Okay, so the comparator to subtract mode, then place a daylight sensor at the back. Where's the daylight sensor here? At the back of the comparator. And now this would activate, but it's still blocked because of the non-movable block here. And this would be your on-off switch. So you could just turn this off and also back on again. When it stayed, then it would launch immediately, not at night. Alright, then there's just one thing left to do, which is the piston that tells the whole machine to return again. So here at the last block, we have a piston basically on top of the upwards facing observer that would get activated and updates the observer right next to it, and this causes the machine to reverse directions and fly back again. And it's also important that you have some blocks in the back in order to push the minecarts back inside of the cauldron. So basically the cauldron block would be, I have one here, placed here, and the minecart which is hanging out to the front will get pushed inside of the cauldron here. So you could use any block. I'm using leaves here because it looks nice, but you can also use iron blocks here. And obviously you don't need those, actually just need 8 full blocks in those positions. That's enough. Alright, let's say we knock out the non-movable blocks and try it out. So you can see this is the deactivation of the clock, would never turn on again, and when it stays, you can launch it. Alright, so sugarcane is getting picked up. Yeah, we've seen it before, I'm just gonna speed it up slightly. You can see the minecarts get pushed inside of the cauldrons here. Machine reverses direction and arrives back at the main station where the minecarts get unloaded. Okay, so you can get your sugarcane from the chest afterwards. Alright, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. See you in the next one. Bye bye.